Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool here back with another Should You Pull Epic 7 video for you guys today. And I have some great news if you guys have noticed that I have not been uploading that much recently in the past few weeks. Well, my semester's over, so I'm going to be back towards daily or even every other day uploads. So, expect some more frequent videos going up on the channel, and I'll be tackling a lot of the new events, going over all the new units that are coming out and whether I think that they're worth pulling for and if they're going to be good. Now for this new banner, it's going to be Elena. She's actually replacing Ray's banner. Fairy Tale Tenebria is a limited unit, so she's going to run for another week. And the next week is going to be ML Lilius's release, which I'll cover in a different video. But just to get started, if you guys don't know what Elena does, she's an Ice Soulweaver. For you newer players out there, we can go over her skills real quick. So her S3 is basically going to be an AoE attack that gives everyone invincibility and F-res. So very, very good because obviously invincibility, you can't take damage, and the F-res is really nice because it makes it so it can't really get stripped unless you're against a stripper with super high effectiveness. Now you might be thinking, okay, so you want Elena to go first, right? Because this ability will counter a lot of openers, like speed openers that want to, cleave your team. So you have to build it really fast, right? No, because her S2 is going to be whenever she gets an AoE attack, she'll decrease damage that everyone takes by a certain percent depending on how much you mola, and also she'll activate a second skill that will heal everyone and give herself CR by 20%. So that means you can have her at about like 220 speed, 230 speed. You don't have to make her super fast, and she'll cut with her S2, move to the front after healing, and then be able to use her S3 and give everyone invincibility and effect resist. Now her S1's a pretty basic attack. It's just a dispel that will dispel one debuff from 2 allies. Now if you soul burn it, which you don't really ever do, you're going to dispel everyone. It's also a very expensive soul burn, so it's not really worth it in most cases. So you're mostly going to be using her for S2 and S3, honestly. Her S1's a nice bonus, but yeah, don't rely on it too much. So you want to build her decently fast so she can cut with her S2. She counters a lot of control teams and a lot of cleave teams as well. Now what people do actually is sometimes they run her on Doctor's Bag. Doctor's Bag will make it so that when everyone gets hit, she actually will cleanse. So if you get hit with an opener that has a defense break like a Ran, you can actually proc your S2, heal everyone, and also cleanse off that defense break as well. So very nice combos you can have. Some people run like Stella Harpa, her own artifact. There's just so many options. Magaraha is really good too because with her S2, when she uses it, she'll actually push herself even more. So you can actually build her a little bit even like slower actually. So you don't have to worry too much about that speed stat. Now, is she worth pulling for? So Elena's a pretty decent unit in my opinion. She's very, very strong in defense teams. She's not like super OP top tier in every single defense team like Angel Light, Angelica, and like Bellion, but she's still very strong. You can use her as a counter to cleave teams. She's very good at deterring cleave. In RTA, World Arena, which is like live PvP, you can actually use her as like a cleave counter there as well. She's also good as a control counter. She's just, in my opinion, a very, very, very annoying unit to deal with. So just for that reason alone, if you guys are looking for PvP cleave answers or like even control answers, although control really isn't a problem at the moment, then Elena's a very, very good choice. She's one of the best counters to cleave in the game at the moment, and cleave is sort of making a comeback. Judge Kisei is getting buffed, Rand's pretty good, and he just came out. So Elena's a good answer to that. Now for PvE, what do you use her for? I personally have not seen a single use for her for Elena in PvE. She's mostly going to be a PvP unit, so mostly for early game players, you're never going to really use her. So for that reason, like, I wouldn't really pull for her as an early game player because she has no use to you at all. You can say that, oh, she has some cleansing, you can cheese with like invincibility. Yeah, but the invincibility cooldown's 5 turns, and also her cleanse is like pretty unreliable. You might as well bring like a different cleanser for PvE, like the very loved A Momo, who can cleanse every single turn. But for PvP, she's very good defensive unit. She's kind of a niche unit, I'd say, against cleave, like I said a million times, but she's very, very good in that niche. So if you're looking for a good PvP option for cleave counters, very good. I recommend pulling for her as a mid to late game player. As an early game player, you're not going to ever really use her, and even though she's a very good cleave counter, there's also other cleave counters that will come out eventually, so you don't have to worry too much about pulling for her. And also keep in mind, guys, I expect Cerise with Guiding Light, and also DN, which is another good Soulweaver for PvP, although she's fallen off a bit lately, which are 2 limited banner units, and they should be coming out in the next few months. Now for those 2 units, Cerise is a must pull. She's very good in PvP and very good in late game PvE, like essential actually for late game PvE. and she's a very strong unit, and her artifact is crazy strong, especially on like landies, right? And Diane is still a very good Soulweaver after the meta shifts. She's still very decent in PvP, and she's also very, very good in PvE. So you guys really want to pull for those units because they're very strong in both PvE and PvP, and they're limited. Elena's not limited. She's good in PvP, but not that good in PvE, and she is not limited, and she is replaceable by certain, like, different, almost the champions, units, or heroes. Now, for artifact, guys, we have, I think it's Stella Harpa. So, Stella Harpa is going to be Elena's artifact. As you can see in the artwork, there is Elena there holding the harp. So, I guess her harp is called Stella Harpa. But anyways, so you'll see that whenever you get attacked, you have a chance to dispel a debuff from an ally. So this is actually pretty underrated. It's a pretty good Soulweaver artifact, and I know I say a million times Soulweaver artifacts have to be very good for you to use them because there are already so many good Soulweaver artifacts. Stella Harpa is a really good artifact after the buff. You can actually use it on Elena, but the thing is, you probably want to end up using Doctor's Bag because it's more consistent, because this has a chance that you don't cleanse. But Stella Harpa is still very good nonetheless if you don't have Doctor's Bag. Magaraha is a good option as well on Elena. Stella Harpa has a lot of uses. You can also use it on like Rowana. Very, very good on Rowana on defense teams. If you're using Rowana on a defense team, you don't know what artifact to put on her. You just have it on like, I don't know, Idol's Cheer or like Water's Origin or something because you don't have a lot of artifacts and you want to know what's a really good option. Stella Harpa is a very good option. Now, is it worth buying from the powder shop? I personally don't think it is. So if you end up pulling for Elena, or you have a Stella Harpa even already, and you know you pull that Stella Harpa, it's actually a very good option for your Soulweaver units. But I would not spend 240 powder for it, because keep in mind, when this is in the rotation for the banner in the shop, in the Powder of Knowledge shop, it will be selling for 240 powder, not 180. Whereas if it was rotating with the other artifacts, like I think Song of Stars is in now, it would be 180. Also, it's not limited, guys, so chances are higher than not that you're going to end up pulling this randomly eventually while you're pulling for other banner units in the future. So don't worry too much if you can't buy it. I wouldn't even buy it with powder if you had a lot of powder, because like I said, there's a lot of good artifacts coming out in the future. And with new units coming out with episode 3, right? Episode 4, there's going to be a lot of artifacts that you have to buy, because Smilegate does a thing where they, you know, power creep a lot in this game, especially with artifacts. So you really want to make sure you have a healthy supply of Powder of Knowledge. Stella Harpa, don't buy it from the powder shop, guys. It's a very good artifact, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's worth the powder, and it's not limited. And it's not like a universal artifact. You can't use this on like every Soulweaver like you can with like Magarahas and like other Soulweaver artifacts. But it is very good on units like Elena, Rowana, and like defense teams in general that are running Soulweavers. Now for Elena herself, early game, mid game player, I wouldn't even bother pulling for her because you will never use her. And by the time you use her, like, you'll have other units that can do her job, or you will have another banner that's running Elena. And also there's going to be limited banners running soon, so there's no time to waste in saving your bookmarks. And as a late game player, if you have a lot of bookmarks to spare, and you really want like a good cleave answer for World Arena or for defense teams or something like that in Arena, you can pull for Elena. She's a very good option. Just keep in mind she has no use in PvE really. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my Should You Pull Elena and Stella Harpa guide. I hope this video helped you out, and expect more videos to get uploaded more frequently in the future, because I am finally free from my classes, thank God. Thanks again, I'll see you guys next video.